November 9, 1944. General Major Kurt von Tippelskirch stood at his command post window near Metz, watching rain that had fallen continuously for 72 hours. The weather was catastrophic for military operations. Visibility under 200 meters, roads turning to mud, rivers flooding, temperatures hovering near freezing. Every army, German, British, Soviet, American, reduced operations during such conditions. Wait for weather to clear. Standard doctrine, proven wisdom. Except Third Army was advancing faster than they had during the previous week's sunshine. Von Tippelskirch held intelligence reports documenting the impossible. During clear weather November 1st through 5th, Third Army averaged 2.4 kilometers advance per day. During torrential rain November 6th through 9th, they averaged 4.1 kilometers per day, not despite the weather, because of it. His staff had verified the data 3 times. American First Army, operating 100 kilometers north in similar weather, had halted offensive operations entirely. British 21st Army Group suspended attacks until conditions improved. Soviet forces, legendary for operating in terrible weather, reduced advances to minimal probing operations. Third Army accelerated. In rain that should stop armies, Patton's forces moved faster than in sunshine that should enable them. The question wasn't how. The question was why German defensive planning hadn't anticipated this. Wehrmacht operational doctrine regarding weather was precise, tested through 5 years of combat across multiple climates. Rain degraded military effectiveness predictably. Visibility dropped, limiting reconnaissance and artillery observation. Roads deteriorated, slowing vehicle movement and logistics. Rivers flooded, creating obstacles. Soldier fatigue increased from cold and wet conditions. The mathematics were consistent across all armies. Rain reduced operational tempo by 40 to 60%. Forces operating in rain averaged 1.5 to 2.5 kilometers advance per day, compared to 3.5 to 5.5 kilometers in clear weather. Every army followed this pattern. The Soviets in winter, the British in Italy, the Americans in Normandy. General Lieutenant Otto Lasch, commanding 85th Corps defending approaches to Metz, had built his November defensive strategy around weather forecasts. German meteorological services predicted extended rain starting November 6th, lasting 7 to 10 days. Perfect defensive conditions. Lasch's operational plan explicitly stated, extended poor weather will reduce American offensive capability by estimated 50%. This provides opportunity to strengthen defensive positions, rotate exhausted units, and consolidate forces without continuous American pressure. American doctrine prioritizes mechanical advantage, armor, air support, artillery observation. Rain negates these advantages. The plan was sound. It matched doctrine proven in Russia, North Africa, Italy, and France. When weather turned terrible, attackers slowed or stopped. Defenders used respite to improve positions. The plan assumed Third Army would follow the same weather-dependent patterns every other army demonstrated. That assumption was producing catastrophic miscalculations by November 9th, when Lasch's defensive positions were being overrun faster in rain than they had been in sunshine. The tactical problem emerged clearly through pattern analysis. Third Army wasn't just maintaining offensive tempo during rain, they were exploiting rain as tactical advantage. Oberst Wilhelm Ritter, chief engineer for German First Army, documented the phenomenon in technical detail. During clear weather, American advances followed predictable sequences. Reconnaissance identified German positions. Artillery conducted preparatory bombardments. Air support struck defensive strongpoints. Infantry and armor attacked coordinated with fire support. This sequence required visibility, air operations, and artillery observation, all degraded by rain. Our German doctrine calculated that rain reduced American offensive effectiveness by forcing them to attack without their technological advantages. But Third Army attacks during rain showed different pattern. No preliminary bombardments, minimal reconnaissance, no air support. Infantry and armor simply attacked, penetrating German lines at points Doctrine said were most defensible in poor visibility. On November 7th, elements of Third Army's 5th Infantry Division attacked German positions near Arneville during heavy rain with visibility under 100 meters. The position was strong. Concrete bunkers, interlocking fields of fire, minefields, artillery support. In clear weather with full observation, such positions required extensive preparation to assault. In rain with minimal visibility, they should be nearly impregnable. The Americans attacked directly into the position at 0600 hours. Dawn during heavy rain meant near darkness. They penetrated the defensive line within 90 minutes. No preparatory bombardment, no artillery adjustment fires, just infantry and tanks advancing through rain into positions German commanders believed weather made unassailable. Lash's intelligence officer calculated the timeline. American forces achieved breakthrough in rain faster than comparable attacks during clear weather. The weather that should protect German defenses was somehow enabling American attacks. The pattern repeated across Lash's entire sector. Rain didn't slow Third Army. Rain accelerated them, and German defensive doctrine had no explanation for why. After the war, American testimony revealed systematic doctrine that German intelligence had never fully comprehended during combat operations. What appeared to be weather-independent capability was actually weather exploitation strategy. Colonel Paul Harkins, Third Army Deputy Chief of Staff, documented Patton's weather doctrine in his 1947 memoir. The philosophy was distributed to all Third Army units in September 1944, titled Operational Advantages in Adverse Weather. The core principle was counterintuitive. Bad weather neutralizes enemy advantages more than our advantages. German defenses rely on observation, prepared fields of fire, and coordinated responses. Rain eliminates observation, obscures fields of fire, and prevents coordination. Our advantages, superior logistics, mechanical reliability, and aggressive doctrine, function regardless of weather. Therefore, bad weather favors us. Patton's directive specified, when weather deteriorates, increase operational tempo. Enemy expects us to slow or stop. Violate that expectation. Attack when they assume we won't. Move when they assume we can't. Bad weather is opportunity, not obstacle. But directives weren't sufficient. The system required solving tactical problems that stopped other armies during rain. Lieutenant Colonel Creighton Abrams, commanding 37th Tank Battalion, explained the mechanical preparation in post-war interviews. Third Army maintenance doctrine prioritized weather-independent operation. We waterproofed electrical systems other units left vulnerable. We equipped vehicles with deep water fording kits other units considered unnecessary. Yet we maintained stocks of cold weather lubricants other units requested only after weather turned. The preparation began in August before weather became critical. Third Army maintenance battalions received directives requiring all vehicles to pass deep water fording tests, driving through water 1.2 meters deep without stalling. Other American armies tested vehicles to standard specifications, 0.6 meters. Third Army doubled the requirement. The testing seemed excessive in August sunshine. It proved critical in November rain when rivers flooded and roads became streams. But what they found would change everything about how weather affected operations. The tactical innovation was more significant than mechanical preparation. Third Army developed attack methods specifically designed for poor visibility conditions. The Major General Manton Eddy commanding 12th Corps, documented the technique. Clear weather attacks require coordination between artillery, air support, armor, and infantry. Each element needs visibility for effectiveness. Rain eliminates coordination's advantages, so we eliminated coordination. The statement sounds like command breakdown. It was deliberate tactical choice. Eddy continued, "In rain, we attacked with armor and infantry only. No preliminary bombardment. Enemy couldn't see us approaching anyway. No air support, unavailable in weather. No complex coordination, impossible invisibility. Just armor and infantry advancing on compass bearings toward known enemy positions." The method violated conventional attack doctrine, but conventional attack doctrine assumed visibility, enabling coordination. A rain eliminated visibility. Third Army eliminated coordination, and with it, the delays coordination required. Colonel Bruce Clark, commanding Combat Command A of 4th Armored Division, provided specific example. November 8th, we attacked German positions near Del May during heavy rain. Visibility 150 meters. Standard doctrine said conduct reconnaissance, identify strong points, plan coordinated attack. We knew German positions from previous days' observation. We attacked directly, using compasses and map coordinates, advancing through rain until we hit resistance. No coordination, no preparation, no delay, just forward movement. The attack succeeded because German defenders couldn't see Americans approaching until they were within 100 meters. German artillery couldn't engage without observation. German reinforcements couldn't coordinate counterattacks without seeing battlefield. All the advantages prepared defenses provided during clear weather disappeared in rain. Oberst Friedrich Wilhelm von Mellenthin, Chief of Staff to 5th Panzer Army, captured the German realization in his December 1944 analysis. American Third Army has developed attack doctrine optimized for poor visibility. They sacrifice coordination's advantages to gain surprises advantages. In clear weather, our defensive positions benefit from observation and fields of fire. In rain, we lose observation and fields of fire, while Americans lose only coordination they've chosen to abandon. The weather we believed protected us actually exposes us. The analysis identified what German doctrine missed. Defensive advantages required visibility more than offensive advantages did. Attackers could navigate by compass and attack along axes. Defenders needed to see attackers to engage them. Rain blinded defenders more than attackers. Third Army weaponized that asymmetry. Other armies waited for weather to improve so they could coordinate complex attacks. Third Army attacked during weather specifically because coordination was impossible for both sides, but simple aggressive advance still worked. December 1944, the Ardennes counteroffensive. This was where German assumptions about weather advantages met comprehensive failure. When Wehrmacht forces launched their offensive December 16th, the operational planning relied on weather. German meteorological services predicted extended fog, rain, and low clouds, conditions grounding Allied air forces and limiting ground observation. Perfect offensive conditions. The prediction was accurate. December 16th through 24th, weather across the Ardennes was catastrophic. Fog reduced visibility to 50 to 100 meters. Rain turned roads to mud. Temperatures fluctuated between freezing and just above, creating ice and slush. Allied air forces were grounded. Ground observation was impossible. Wehrmacht planners calculated this weather would slow American responses. When Eisenhower ordered Third Army to disengage from Saar operations and attack north toward Bastogne, German intelligence predicted 7 to 10 days before Third Army could mount effective attacks. See, the weather alone would impose 3 to 4 days delay. On December 19th, Eisenhower met Allied commanders at Verdun. He asked Patton when Third Army could attack toward Bastogne. Patton's response is documented by multiple sources. December 22nd, 3 divisions. 48 hours to pivot entire army 90 degrees and launch coordinated attacks through winter weather that had grounded Allied air forces. General Oberst Alfred Jodel's response was dismissive. Americans are overconfident. Weather makes such movement impossible. Their own doctrine requires air superiority and artillery observation. They have neither in these conditions. On December 20th, 3rd Army began moving north through weather Jodl claimed made movement impossible. Fog obscured navigation. Rain turned roads to mud. The columns stretched 100 kilometers through winter conditions. 3rd Army moved faster than they had during September's clear weather. General Major Heinz Kokott, commanding 26th Volksgrenadier Division defending Bastogne, watched American forces approach through fog on December 22nd. His defensive planning assumed weather would delay Americans until December 28th or later. His positions weren't fully prepared. His artillery hadn't registered defensive fires. His minefields weren't complete. At 0600 hours December 22nd, exactly when Patton predicted, 4th Armored Division attacked through fog toward Bastogne. Visibility was 75 meters. Artillery observation was impossible. Air support was grounded. All the conditions German doctrine said would stop American attacks. The Americans attacked without preliminary bombardment, without air support, without artillery adjustment, just armor and infantry advancing on compass bearings through fog, hitting German positions before defenders saw them coming. Kokott's after-action report was blunt. Enemy demonstrated capability to operate in weather conditions we assessed as prohibitive to offensive operations. American forces attacked with precision, suggesting clear weather reconnaissance, yet weather prevented such reconnaissance. Conclusion: American forces possess operational methods functioning independent of weather conditions, or have developed weather exploitation techniques our doctrine doesn't account for. The siege of Bastogne ended December 26th when 3rd Army broke through. The breakthrough succeeded during weather German planners believed would prevent it. Weather that was supposed to favor German defensive operations instead enabled American offensive operations. The assumption that bad weather helped defenders proved catastrophically wrong when attackers refused to let weather slow them. The statistics quantified what German commanders experienced as impossible tempo. 3rd Army operational logs, compiled by U.S. Army Historical Division in 1946, documented precise correlation between weather and advance rates. The data contradicted every conventional assumption about weather's impact. Clear weather days, visibility greater than 3 kilometers, average advance 2.8 kilometers per day. Overcast days, visibility 1 to 3 kilometers, average advance 3.1 kilometers per day. Rain days, visibility less than 1 kilometer. Average advance 3.7 kilometers per day. Heavy rain/fog, visibility less than 200 meters. Average advance 4.2 kilometers per day. The inverse relationship was consistent across 3rd Army's entire operational period, from August 1944 through March 1945. Worse weather produced faster advances. Comparable data for 1st Army showed opposite pattern: clear weather, 3.2 kilometers per day, rain, 1.8 kilometers per day, heavy rain/fog, 0.4 kilometers per day. The differential wasn't equipment or capability. Both armies had similar vehicles, training, and resources. The difference was doctrine. 1st Army followed conventional weather-dependent operations. The 3rd Army weaponized weather. Casualty ratios validated the tactical effectiveness. 3rd Army suffered lower casualties per kilometer, advanced during bad weather than during clear weather. Specifically, 12.4 casualties per kilometer in rain versus 18.7 casualties per kilometer in clear weather. German defensive fire was less effective when visibility prevented observation. General der Panzertruppe Hasso von Manteuffel provided comprehensive German assessment in 1948 testimony. We planned operations assuming weather affected both sides equally. This was fundamentally wrong facing Third Army. Bad weather eliminated our defensive advantages. Observation, coordinated fire, prepared positions, more than it eliminated American offensive capability. They developed attack methods that functioned without visibility. We relied on visibility for defensive effectiveness. Rain blinded us more than them. The long-term impact reshaped American operational doctrine. Post-war field manuals incorporated weather exploitation principles derived from Third Army operations. Modern U.S. military emphasizes all-weather capability as fundamental requirement. The Germans never developed effective countermeasures. Wehrmacht defensive doctrine required visibility for effectiveness. Third Army's weather exploitation doctrine required eliminating visibility for effectiveness. The doctrines were incompatible, and Third Armies proved superior whenever weather was terrible. The lesson transcends military operations. Constraints affecting everyone don't affect everyone equally. Rain impacted both sides. German defenses lost observation, fields of fire. Coordination capability. American attacks lost artillery support, air superiority, complex coordination. Superficially equal degradation. But the degradation wasn't equal in practice. German doctrine required the capabilities Rain eliminated. American doctrine, Third Army's doctrine specifically, could function without them. The constraint hit sides asymmetrically despite appearing universal. The principle applies universally. Conditions constraining all competitors favor whoever adapts constraint into advantage. Third Army didn't operate independent of weather. They operated differently in weather. Sacrificing capabilities weather eliminated any way to gain capabilities weather enabled. Von Manteuffel's 1954 assessment captured the paradigm. Patton understood that bad weather was bad for everyone, but worse for defenders than attackers. Defenders needed to see attackers to kill them. Attackers just needed to reach defenders to kill them. Rain prevented both, but reaching was simpler than seeing. Third Army accepted simplified attacks, no coordination, no preparation, to exploit simplified defenses, no observation, no response. The doctrine was crude but effective specifically because weather made crude effective. Other armies waited for weather to improve so they could fight normally. Third Army fought abnormally when weather was abnormal. Normal fighting required conditions other armies waited for. Abnormal fighting worked in conditions other armies avoided. Rain stopped being obstacle when someone made rain into weapon. Constraints became advantages when doctrine adapted to constraint, instead of waiting for constraint to end. Third Army advanced fastest when weather was worst, because worst weather created best opportunities.